you ever questioned your sexuality? Have you ever looked at a stranger of the same sex and felt such explicit thoughts that you're afraid to say them out loud? Have you ever looked at a stranger and felt so warm and tender that you felt like a bread in an oven? If your answer to any of that question is yes, then this video is for you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Since the last time you've seen me, my hair color has changed, but that's not relevant. What's relevant is that today we're talking about human sexuality. Now, human sexuality can be so diverse and so complicated. There are so many labels and categories that you can put yourself into, but sadly we live in a largely cis-heteronormative society. So while I thought I'd make this video about compulsory heterosexuality and questioning your sexuality is because A, it's Pride Month, and B, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Ashley aka Best Dress. She did a little Q&A, and one of the questions was, has she ever questioned her sexuality? And she said that she's been on a date with a woman, but she felt really ashamed, and she put a little thing over her head saying internalized homophobia. And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to when they're questioning their sexuality. So I thought I would chip in and talk about compulsory heterosexuality, internalized homophobia, and other not so fun things. I mentioned before, we live in a largely cis-heteronormative society, which is to say that the only relationships that are expressed are of a heterosexual kind. Society pressurizes you to have a heterosexual relationship because the only norm that is prevalent in society is heterosexuality. It also comes with the assumption that everyone is straight, and this can be seen in a variety of things, starting from how many rom-coms and love stories and novels are about heterosexual relationships. They are all overwhelmingly heterosexual, which leads to this thing called compulsory heterosexuality. The term compulsory heterosexuality was termed by Adrienne Rich, a feminist poet in the 1970s and 80s. She wrote an essay titled Compulsory Heterosexuality and Lesbian Existence in 1980. This is the first time this term was used. And this term basically means that you are ingrained with the belief that there's only one kind of normal, and that is having a heterosexual relationship, and that anything beyond that is a deviance from society's rules and norms, which can lead to a lot of shame and a lot of denial. So compulsory heterosexuality and cis heteronormativity is basically this belief that the only relationship that can exist between two people is heteronormative or heterosexual. So queer people often feel ashamed because of this, and they feel like they don't belong, or that their attraction is dirty or wrong. So compulsory heterosexuality, together with the society we live in, culminates to internalized homophobia. Those are very sad realities that you must deal with if you're questioning or you're queer. There are certain things you can do to alleviate, in a way, this compulsory heterosexuality. So you can read queer literature, you can read up on scientific articles why being queer is just as natural, if not more natural, than being straight. You can listen to gay artists, you can make queer friends. This one's really important. You can find a queer-only space where you can talk to people who are queer and comfortable with it about their experiences and see if you relate to it. This also alleviates a lot of the shame that you might feel because there are other people who feel this way too. You come to the realization that what you've been told is normal is actually not that normal, and that being gay is not that rare or something to be ashamed of. But most importantly, just know that you don't have to have a label. Labels work for some people, but not having a label feels liberating to some, and that's okay. Whatever you choose to do is valid. You don't have to feel pressurized to categorize yourself or label your sexuality or your identity. Pride Month is a protest against this very cis-heteronormative structure, but it is also a celebration of being queer. So if you're still questioning, remember to smash that dated heteronormative ideal and celebrate who you are. I will end this video with one of my favorite quotes by Billie Joe Armstrong, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.